everyone, today I'm gonna be doing baby's 5-month update, and he's not here with me right now because he is sleeping. So we did go to the doctor's earlier this month because he had an infection on his finger, and right now it's actually a lot better. It was a little bubble on his finger, and for some reason some clear liquid was coming out from it at one point, and then it was kind of like a scab, and then some white pus was coming out of it. The doctors prescribed him some amoxicillin, and he took that for a week, and now he's a lot better. And last time we went to the doctors, he was almost 16 pounds. We didn't get his height or anything. He's starting to outgrow his 3 to 6 month clothes, and he's fitting more into the 6 to 9 month clothing. And for diapers, he's still wearing size 3. He is still a supported sitter, and right now he is starting to eat the baby food. I think I hear him crying. So he decided to wake up. But here's his cute little outfit he got for Christmas. Okay. I guess he was just grumpy from a nap, but he's going back to sleep. For his sleeping schedule, it's pretty whack. Some nights he can sleep through the whole night, and then some nights he gets up in the middle of the night and kind of just fusses. But also, if you guys can't tell, he's been growing his hair back. I know it's not like a big difference, but you can totally tell from the camera. There's this part right here. I don't know why it's growing darker than the rest of his hair. And I know last time I said that he knows how to roll over. We're at an annoying stage where when I try to change his diaper or put on his clothes after taking a bath, he just rolls over, and when I try to flip him back over, he fights me and rolls back over. But yeah, he doesn't know how to crawl yet. Since I showed you guys my pregnancy story last time, I'll go ahead and continue with my labor and delivery story for this month's update. Since I did have gestational diabetes, my doctor recommended for me to get induced a week early instead of waiting for the full 40 weeks. She said that if I waited for 40 weeks, I probably would have a lot of complications giving birth, and I would probably have a C-section. I don't know if I said this in the last video, but after I found out I had gestational diabetes, I had a biophysical, which is just basically an ultrasound to measure the baby to make sure he's growing alright, make sure there's enough fluid, and make sure he's not growing too fast. At my 38-week checkup with my doctor, not the biophysical, I realized that they had set another appointment for me for the next week, and I went to the checkout desk and I asked them if I had to cancel it or if I should keep it, and they told me that they haven't even scheduled my induction yet. So they called the birthing center, which was next door to the OB office that I went to. The birthing center that I was going to was actually only like a building away from where my OB's office was. And so they called them to ask them about my induction, and they actually said there was a waiting list and that I would be put on the waiting list, and they don't know how fast that waiting list would go down. There was a lot of people on the list, but because I had gestational diabetes, they told me I was like 6 or 7. The plan was to go on Sunday night, the 21st, to get induced, let all the medicines set in, and just whatever else, and give birth on the 22nd, which was a Monday. And because I was put on the waiting list, I wasn't sure what day I was gonna go in. They would either just call me, but the lady at the checkout desk at my OB's office said to just go ahead and call them Sunday night to see if they had any rooms available or if I had been pushed up, just to give a little update to see if I could go in that night. And so that Sunday came by, and that was about the longest week of my life. That Sunday day came in, I didn't get a call in the morning, and I was just gonna wait until the nighttime to give them a call. And so we went to my parents' house because they invited us over to have like a family dinner. We had some relatives over, and it was around 8 p.m. and my husband told me to just go ahead and call them. And so I called them, and they said they don't have any rooms yet and that they would give me a call as soon as possible. I was really bummed out because I really wanted to go in that night. I was really excited for it, and I already had everything packed. It was around 10 or 11 when we got home, And right when we got home, I got a call, and it was from a number I didn't know. So I picked up, and there was this lady on the phone, and she said, hey, we actually have a room, so if you can come in right now, we can go ahead and get everything set up for you. And so I told my husband, and the nurse was still on the phone. And my husband said, tell them that we'll be there around midnight or something, because we still have to get stuff ready. And he actually wanted to take a shower and do all this other stuff. And yeah, so I took a shower, brushed my teeth, double checked the baby bag, double checked my bag, made sure I had everything with me. And then I also had to call my mom, because my mom did know about the induction, and she said that she wanted to be there. At the same time, I was messaging my sister on Facebook. She was actually really excited for me. And I told her, I'm like, hey, I'm about to go to the hospital. She's like, yeah, they called us earlier, but you weren't here, so we just told them to call your cell phone. I'd say it was between 12:30 or 1 o'clock when we finally got to the hospital, because we actually had some stuff going on. Okay, so when we got there, I was super duper nervous. I just went into the check-in desk and told them my name, and they were kind of confused, but I told them that I got a call to come in. And so they're like, oh, okay. And so they got all my stuff and led me to my room. Right when I got there, I had to get changed, and they were going to check my cervix and see how dilated I was. I think that's the term. I really don't know. I was 1.5 centimeters dilated now, and that was how dilated I had been since 36 weeks. After that, the nurse told me she was going to give me a Cervidil. I think that's what it's called. I don't really remember. But it's like a tampon, and it's used to speed up labor. And so I had that in me probably all night and probably until the morning too. And also because I had gestational diabetes, the nurses came into my room every 2 hours to come check my blood sugar levels to make sure they weren't going too high. And so I'm pretty sure everyone knows, but when you're in labor, you can't eat anything, you can't even drink water. I think the only thing that they let me have was ice chips. My husband didn't really get to sleep, and I wasn't tired, so I stayed up with him, and he was just kind of watching some stuff on the iPad. And so I really couldn't sleep because I was too excited. I probably didn't even sleep until 5 in the morning. Around 6 or 7 in the morning, my mom and sister got up because my sister, I think she forgot her medication at home, and my mom had some personal stuff to take care of, and so they left. And it was around 7, and that's when I had to take out the Cervidil. I had a new nurse come in. You know, she was just kind of doing what the other nurse did. Came in every 2 hours to check my blood sugar levels, make sure they weren't going too high. And so I think it's around, I want to say between 7 to 9. It was when I started feeling like stronger contractions, but they weren't like painful. And around 10 o'clock, that's when my OB came in to check on me to make sure everything was okay. But yeah, she checked me, and I was about 4 centimeters dilated, and that everything was, you know, going fine. And so for me just to get a little rest. After checking my cervix, she said to go ahead and put some Pitocin into the IV to speed up labor. And so after that, I started getting a lot of contractions, but I'd say they were like every 5 to 10 minutes. They weren't unbearable or anything, but you know, I can totally feel them. And I believe it was around like 12 is when my OB came back in to check if everything was okay, and I don't remember how dilated I was. She went ahead and popped my water. The contractions got like so strong, and they were starting to hurt a little bit. After the strong contractions, I just I really couldn't take it, and I really tried to avoid all the stuff that they were trying to offer me. It just got so unbearable that I was like, okay. I can't remember what, but she put something in the IV, and I got so drowsy after that. And after that, my nurse asked me if I wanted an epidural, and I was like, sure, just go ahead. I was really drowsy, so I had to wait for that to come, and I didn't know how long it was gonna take. And finally, the anesthesiast, I guess, I was still kind of drowsy on whatever the nurse gave me, and so he told me to sit up on the edge of the bed, and to bend over so that he can put it in my spine. My husband had to hold me so I would, you know, be still. They just let me lay down for a little bit, and I had to switch sides like every half hour or something, so it would be even on both sides or something like that. So around 1 o'clock, they told me to switch over to my right side, and I was just in a lot of pain. Like, it hurt so bad. And I told the nurse, I'm like, I can't do it, it's killing me. And she said, no, you have to do it. Just, you know, I'll give you a pillow and, you know, for support, and it'll be okay. So she gave me a pillow, and my right hip was still hurting. And by the way, I did have like a lot of problems with my right hip during the beginning of my pregnancy. And so I told her, I'm like, it's killing me, I can't do this, you know. And she took a look, and she told me I was fully dilated and that I needed to start pushing. And so we started pushing. When it got closer to 2 o'clock, that's when they started telling me to push, relax, and start pushing whenever I was ready. I kept pushing and pushing, and would stop when I was done, and just kept pushing and pushing. So my doctor was telling me, oh, I can see the head, you know, keep pushing, he's coming out. And so I just kept pushing and pushing. And before giving birth, I had watched a lot of, you know, labor and delivery stories, but nobody told me that the last push was gonna be the most painful push. It seriously hurt, but after that you just feel so empty. And for me, I was super duper hot. I don't know why. I was just really, really hot. I just felt really, really empty, and I saw him, and I was like, oh my god, he's so beautiful. And so they let us do a little bit skin to skin, and then after a couple minutes, they went ahead and cleaned him up a little bit, and that's when I realized my doctor was sewing me. And so I was just kind of like a little bit scared from seeing the needle and her like stitching me up, but I just looked over at my son, and I just kind of forgot that she was even there. So we spent about 3 days in the hospital. The only time we had him go to the nursery was when they had to do, I guess, like a checkup on him. And I don't know, they never offered to take him to the nursery, and I wasn't really sure what the process was. So he was in the room with us the whole time. Alright, I know this was a pretty long video. It was probably my most anticipated video. It's something I really wanted to do. I just never found time to do it. It was one of the most exciting journeys of my life. I just want to thank everybody for watching my video. Good luck to everyone.